my god. Have you guys seen the reaction on Twitter about the new avatar? The new avatar, so many people were shitting on it. Like, it was so bad. And even Charlie. Even Charlie. Charlie also hates the new one that just came out. Like, people were saying how it's terrible. How she likes it though. I've seen like the first episode that was like an hour. This is my opinion. Okay, this is my opinion. I like the effects. It's really cool. I like the casting, not so much. I like the avatar though. The avatar casting, I love him. He's really adorable. But Sokka? No. What's the name again? Katara? Half and half. Zuko? Kind of cringe. The others, I like them. I'm really excited to see what's the name again. What's the name? Zuko, the blind one, the blind Earth girl. I'm really excited to see what her character is and who played her. I haven't seen the casting, but I've seen like those are the ones I saw so far. So I want to see what Azula. Oh, is it Toph? Okay, Toph. I want to see what Toph looks like, and I want to see what Zula, or is it Azula, like the sister of Zuko. I want to see her character as well. I want to see who plays her. Azula? Okay. But the rest, for example, the old people, I like them though. I like the casting for them. It's just the Sokka and the Katara casting. I don't know. I need to like grow. They need to grow on me. They need to grow on me. But the Avatar casting, oh my god, the boy is so cute. He fits him so well. He really fits him so well. I disagree. Really? Do you think someone could have played Aang better? But yeah, I'm really excited for. I was really excited for the live action. Those are the effects and stuff. You know, I really like them though. The effects are really cool. The effects are really cool. Yeah, I don't know what it is, but he just doesn't feel right. Oh, I feel like it was the same way when people were like talking about how like Luffy, or is it Luffy? Luffy's character, the guy that played the live action. Some people didn't like him in the beginning, but he grew on people. And I like him. I like him. I finished watching the first season, so I'm really excited for the second one. He grew on me as well. I like him a lot. He's really cute. He fits Luffy. In my opinion, he fits Luffy. He does. So it's kind of like the same way for me with Aang. I don't know how it's going to be in the second episode when I watch it. But Aang so far is really adorable. I like him. He fits Aang. Okay, let's see what Charlie thinks about the Avatar.
The live action Avatar The Last Airbender Netflix series. I'm not going to blow smoke up your tuchus. You all know that I was not optimistic that this would turn out to be a good show. Anytime anyone that worked on this show talked about it, they made it sound worse and worse. So I had pretty low expectations, but as always, I'm open for a pleasant surprise. Now, I'm going to treat this moist meter a little differently than pretty much any review of this you're going to see. I am going to do my best to not compare it to the cartoon, the original masterpiece of Avatar The Last Airbender.
That's the thing.
It's very clear, off-rip, from even the first episode, that they wanted to kind of carve their own path in the Avatar universe, and instead of making a one-to-one recreation, a carbon copy of the cartoon, they wanted to kind of put their own spin on it. So they've made a lot of major changes to it. So I'm here to give you the moist meter on whether or not this show stands on its own 2 feet. If you've never watched the cartoon, will you like the live action? I will, however, kick this off by saying I don't think the show is dog shit by any means, but I still don't see a single reason on God's green earth why you would choose to watch the live action Avatar over the cartoon version.
I don't think anyone would actually do that like comparison. I feel like even anytime like my friends, because like my friends were the one that told me to watch the Avatar, the animated show, when I was like younger. So I don't think anyone would say, oh no, go watch the live action instead of the animated show, you know? So it's kind of like everyone will always choose the animated one. You know, most people grew up with that show. Most people grew up with it. And since I already watched it, I wanted to see the way they would like, you know, they would do for the live action. I didn't even know they had like a live action before. That I didn't know. I didn't know there was another one before this one that just came out. I had no idea. You know, and then again, I don't think there's any live action that's actually really good. I'm not really a fan of live action. I'd rather watch the anime than the human version. than the human version. But One Piece was different. One Piece was different. No matter what, do not watch the earlier live action of Atla. It was so bad. It was that bad. I didn't even know that existed. I thought this was like the first Avatar live action. Live action Death Notes. Was he good? Was he good? I haven't seen it though. I've been running away from it. I've been running away from it this entire time. No, not at all. Okay, there we go. I don't know. It's like every live action is not going to be good. But One Piece was good. One Piece was nice. I liked it. I would rather eat your cooking than watch that movie again. Oh my god. It's just corporate Hollywood thinks adults won't like the cartoon. Oh, but then I don't really know why some directors always like to like make a spin of something. Like if you're trying to like do a live action, just do like a carbon copy. Like the story is already there. The story is already there. You don't have to do anything. If people liked it, just do the one-on-one. If people didn't like it, okay, then you can change it up a bit. But if people liked it, I don't see why you want to make a spin. You know, they make a spin because they want to feel validated. But I just feel like it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Like the Last of Us type show. Oh, I didn't finish that one. I saw on Twitter so many people didn't like it.
Version. The cartoon is better in every single aspect. So I just want to put that out there. If you're someone who's like captivated by the idea of Avatar, you're going to get a lot more mileage and a lot more entertainment out of the cartoon. It still holds up well today. It's timeless. I also, this will be the last comparison I make. There's a major change in the live action where Aang no longer goes on any like side quests. He doesn't really have fun per se. He doesn't do things just for the sake of fun. He's much more serious all the time to match the more serious tone of everything in the show, which in my opinion flattens the character. So Aang in the live action is not nearly as dynamic as he was in the cartoon, which is a real shame, but that'll be the last comparison I make here. That's just a complaint that I felt pretty strongly about. If you've never watched the cartoon, maybe you won't feel that way. The actor who plays Aang, I think, does an extraordinary job.
Yeah, that's what I said. I love the actor that plays Yang. It fits him so well. It really does fit him. It really does fit him. I liked it a lot. Like him. He's like the only character that I actually really like. I don't know. The waterbender casting just I didn't like it. I didn't like it. I don't know why. I don't know. It's just I just wasn't feeling it. The Fire Nation casting, it was okay. It was okay. I like the old guy. I feel like it also fits him. It fits the person that they casted as well. But it's just the Water Nation was just kind of off. Yeah, Ito. I'm not good with names. You guys know this. I'm not good with names. Yeah, Ito. It fits him. They did a great job casting him.
I'm really impressed with Aang in this show. I lied, I've got one more comparison for you. You know how they made this hoopla about this show needs to be accessible to even a mature audience? They said that the cartoon was kind of just aimed at kids and this needs to be like appealing to Game of Thrones fans or whatever. It's really ironic that that was the statement they made because now that the show's actually out, what they really did is they took the cartoon and dumbed it down. So any subtlety that existed in the Avatar cartoon series is now just beaten to death in the live action. They just explicitly state every character emotion ever because they don't trust the audience to be smart enough to pick up on it. So the cartoon actually is far more mature and subtle when it comes to its writing than the live action. At no point during the 8 episodes here do you even have a second to really think about
I didn't know.
And try and figure it out.
I've only seen the first episode. So knowing this is it's kind of sad though.
Out for yourself or what they might be going through because that character will inexplicably just tell you what they're feeling and what they're going through just out loud. So don't worry about ever needing to use your brain to like pick up on themes or anything because man, they are really on the nose with everything. But anyway, that is the last comparison I'll make. Let's go ahead and dive in. Like I said, I was very impressed with Aang's performance here. I thought Aang was done justice overall. Even though I wasn't a huge fan of him lacking the whimsy that he used to have, I do still think that he is a strong character and does a great job. I also
Yeah.
think the visuals were far better than I would have ever expected them to be. After the 2010
Yeah.
disaster, which had a $100 million budget, I was convinced you can never CGI good bending. It'll always look like a YouTuber Adobe After Effects skit. But I was wrong. This actually has really solid fight choreography, and the bending
Yeah.
for the most part always looks really good. Especially the environments, like the places they visit look beautiful. Like legitimately, they look really stunning. You can tell that this is a very big budget production. I will say though, on this front, there is one consistently lackluster piece of CGI, and it's always around the waterbending. The waterbending just lacks any real oomph. It lacks power. Anytime Katara is waterbending and she shoots water in an enemy, it comes out and strikes with about the same amount of intensity as me spitting water out of my mouth.
This is what I mean. I just feel like the water they did the water bending nation so bad. They did the water bending nation so bad. Like it's just I don't know. It's lacking. Like this that's the reason why I don't know why. I just find the casting for them so meh. You know? Looking like a Aquafina ad.
It's just like a little splash. It just seems so weak. Which is a shame because waterbending is so cool and there's so much utility behind it. And they do a better job as it progresses towards the end. But for the most part, getting there, the waterbending is just really underwhelming and lackluster. But overall, I will say that I was very impressed with the visuals here. I think they did do a pretty good job of capturing how cool bending can be in a fight. And they do get pretty creative with a lot of the ways these fights unfold. So I was pleased overall with how it was presented. Another compliment that I'll go ahead and get out there is I actually enjoy some of the darker elements they've added to this, where they just go whole hog and show someone being like lit on fire, literally.
Oh my god, yeah.
You know, it shows Ozai's brutality, where at one point he just, like Scorpion out of Mortal Kombat, just summons fire under someone and just murders them. It really helps showcase
that looks
how
really cool
of a monster Ozai is. So I do think that that's a cool direction to take that, and I think it makes it pretty thrilling. I really think when it comes to like the stakes, this feels like a real perilous situation that the cast is thrown into. Like there's a war, it's tragic, there's a lot of despair, everything's kind of fucked. I think it does a good job of getting that across. Now let's get into my complaints. I think the writing from start to finish is pretty bad. The dialogue is like words no one will ever say to each other in a real conversation ever. And it is egregious in episode 1. I think it's because they tried to condense so much story into only 8 episodes that they had to rush through everything, and you feel it. It feels so rushed with its narrative. It's awful sometimes, straight up. Like, listening to a monologue as a conversation isn't fun. It takes you out of it. They just beat you to death with exposition off rip. So, for example, when a character is talking to Aang, the character is telling Aang everything the viewer needs to know about the lore. You've been asleep for 100 years because you have been frozen in ice when you ran away and got hit by that storm. But you are the Avatar, the only one that can save this world. But like,
why do they always try to like compress everything into 8 episodes? Is it because of like the budget? Is that why? Is it because of the budget? Because like it's the way I also felt when I was like watching the first episode, which is why I said it was kind of meh. I really liked the effects, the casting, and all that, but it just felt kind of like just okay, you know. That's exactly why the budgets, episodes can be expensive, so they try sometimes to put as much as they can. Then they should have just said Avatar the DLC. Instead of just trying to like, you know, compress the entire story, just make like a DLC or something. I don't know. Like if you don't have money for it, just do just do Avatar DLC. There's no TV DLC. I don't know, because like everyone would notice that like everything's like rushed up. everyone would notice. If it's like someone that has like seen the Avatar, would just be like, damn, okay. I guess we're just going to get bombarded with all this info, I guess. There's no guarantee how many episodes they'll get, like a second season or not, so they do as much as they can. Oh, so that's why. When they do that with the TV show, it just looks like a clear cash grab to me. Yeah, they're trying to like get the Avatar clouds. You know, Avatar the last TLDR. Called the sequel channel of the Avatar something.
Fire Nation is attacked after we lived in harmony. Like, I know, I'm getting right back into a cartoon comparison. I know in the cartoon it's kind of like that sometimes, but it has more episodes to flesh that out, and there's more actual character bonding and relationships outside of like an exposition dump. Here you don't have that. And that leads me to my next complaint, where the characters never really feel like friends. It feels like the relationships progress off screen. Like, there is no reason for the characters to be as close as they are in this show, because you never actually see that develop, even slightly. Because most of the time when a character is talking to each other, like if Katara is talking to Aang or Sokka, the conversation is only ever about business. Like, it's fucking business 100% of the time. Always serious for the most part, where they're just talking about, here's what I'm thinking, here's what I want to do, do you think we should do this, and here's why we need to do this and probably should do this. Those are the only conversations they really have. There's no real character bonding.
They need to like spread it out more.
They feel like characters most of the time when they're talking. They feel like just Wikipedia summaries of the show, and they're just vomiting that out. So I think the writing for pretty much every part of this is just not good. And I feel bad because I think most of the cast really puts forth a good performance, except I don't know why they're taking Katara in the direction they are. They just don't give her much to do or to say. So she never really gets a chance to shine as...
There's a reason why I do not like the Katara casting. Like, it's just... I really, really liked Katara's character in the cartoon, the animated version. She was one of my favorite characters. But in the freaking live action, it feels like they're trying to like baby her. She doesn't even do anything. I don't know. It just feels kind of awkward. It feels so fucking awkward. I don't like it at all. I don't like it. Like, Katara is supposed to be like, you know, like the responsible one, the one that's kind of like taking care of them. You know, she's like, well, yeah, she's like a mom. But like in the live action, it feels like they are trying. Is she weak or something? In the first episode, when I watched it, yeah, she is. She is kind of weak. She is kind of weak. Like, oh my god. But in the animated one, she's not. She's not. I don't know. I don't like the casting. I don't like the casting. I don't like the writing of the way they made her to like come out
as a character. Really, none of the characters get that chance except for Zuko and Aang. Those are the two standouts to me in this series.
Yeah, that's what I said earlier.
Zuko's temper tantrums being too childish, but for me personally, I didn't have an issue with it. I think that criticism's a little misguided given the character. So I actually thought Zuko was done quite well. Now, let's bring this all full circle here. If you've never watched if you've never watched the cartoon, will you like the live action Avatar? It's kind of hard to say because there is some things to like about it, the visuals, the fight.
I mean, she wasn't that strong at the start of the animation either. It takes her until she learns more about bending in general. Yeah, but like I feel like the way they made her in the live action is like she's too weak. Like she can't really like take care of herself. That's like the way they made her in the live action. So it was kind of awkward a bit to see that. Not gonna lie, but I don't know. I'm more used to like seeing the character of Katara like really strong, very responsible. She's the one that has like the kind of like the brains or something, like a Sakura type. Well, no, let's not go that far. Let's not go that far. Like an animator, she could still do stuff accidentally. Yeah, like off the reef she freezes people. Oh, I don't remember that though. Yeah, I don't know.
Fighting, and there is a lot of fighting, and since of course it is the DNA of Avatar, the story is compelling, even if the writing's super weak for the most part. So there is quite a bit to like, but it really feels like, even if you've never watched the cartoon, that this show is rushing through things. by the time it ends, it still feels like all of the characters are strangers to one another, and all of the major narrative plot points that are being hit kind of just happen super quickly without any kind of build-up, which I think takes a lot of the intensity out of the situations that we're seeing. Especially in the final episode. The final episode is visually really cool, but man, does that blow through a lot of content in a really quick period of time where you never really care about any of the emotional stakes. I do like how they convey the big rampage in the Avatar state at the end. I think it comes across really cool, but I just didn't feel any kind of emotional investment into it. At least I wouldn't if I hadn't seen the original. And I feel like that's going to be the case for a lot of people. It's a fun set of fights that you watch at the end, and then that's it. It's just kind of hollow. Oh, while I'm thinking about it though, I do want to give a little bit of praise for what they did with the face stealer. I actually really liked how they portrayed the face stealer in this. I actually thought that landed pretty well. I actually thought most of what they did with the spirits was pretty solid. So there's another compliment I can fish out here for.
I mean, I'm still gonna watch the entire show
though.
The
show breaks that rule of show don't tell. This series is always tell. It is always just over-explaining every minute detail of what every character is thinking, feeling, and going through at all times, because it is just rushing through things. It doesn't give you the opportunity to see any of that build and grow. It just feels all so unnatural and stiff, which leads to a lot of it feeling flat.
Oh. Okay.
But it's not dog, like I said. It's better than I expected it to be, given everything they were saying about it beforehand. It's more than I thought it would be. So overall, I didn't hate it or anything, but I think it's kind of mid. Plugging it into the moist meter, I'm going to give it a comfortable 50%. It is better than I thought it would be, but it's still not great. And if you're going to watch this as someone that's never watched the cartoon, I feel like you'll walk away with a lukewarm opinion on it. It's not anything special. It stands on its own two legs, kind of. Like, it does try and carve out its own identity here, but it's not like a wonderful identity that it ends up with, because it's still trying to adapt mostly from the cartoon while making tweaks and changes and trying to still capture all of that in its 8 episodes. So it's always speed running through this very crucial lore. And it just doesn't work all that well. I feel like maybe if they had 12 episodes, they could have maybe made this work better. I don't really know. But as it currently is, I don't think it's anything amazing, but I also don't think it's nearly as shitty as most people, myself included, expected it to be. So that's kind of nice, I guess. But anyway, if you're ever interested in Avatar, just watch the cartoon. This doesn't really justify its existence. This feels like a Netflix cash grab, kind of.
Oh, that's what you said? That was easy. I think someone mentioned it being like a cash grab. I think it was Infinity, but it does.
Necessarily say it feels soulless, because clearly there are people behind this that did at least care about the original property. That's kind of clear, especially with things like the cabbage guy coming in. But it's just still not that great. That's about it. So yeah.
Oh, damn, that's true though.